Here we are at the Philosopher's Corner at the Christian Science Reading Room, which they let us use this space to be here. And though we don't endorse Christian Science or what have you, but they are nice enough to let us use the area. So that's that. Here's Mike K. Akagayo. Today I want to focus more on the housing, affordable housing, and rent control with a focus on Sacramento and just wherever it takes you. So go for it.
Wherever it takes me in my own mind. Hi, everybody. It's me again. I'm back. Rent control. You know, Pete and I have discussed this more than once, I know, but right now it seems to come to the forefront that people's rent gets raised, but they still have bed bugs and mice and rats and problems with their heating, problems with the air conditioning, even in some places problems with the elevator for people that can't take the stairs. My question is this: why are they raising the rent unless they're trying to fix those particular items? The problem is those things are ongoing and they never really fix them. So where's the money going? In their pockets. All they're about is money. That's the bottom line of any business. Profit. They don't care about people that are living marginally, that are just making it. We also talked about, you know, how the powers that be playing into this, they are making sure that we merely survive, but we don't thrive. We don't live full lives. If they're charging a third of your whatever benefits you get for rent, that doesn't leave you a hell of a lot left for food for the whole month, or especially medical. A lot of older people have medical problems. Whatever they are, they have bills.
Entertainment, just going to the show.
Or yeah, just going to a movie. I haven't been to a movie since
Major
last
expenditure.
year. Yeah, I can't go see even not that big of a concert. The fees they're charging for that now, especially down at this new arena, are outrageous.
Popcorn?
Yeah, popcorn. What is popcorn now? $6?
Yeah.
$7? I don't know. It's absolutely outrageous. And yet you can't bring anything in with you. You know, like your own snack or your own drink. We're both done. What is this, Hitlerland or something? Anyway.
Nazi America.
Yeah, well it is. We're in a fascist state and we don't even know it. Most people don't anyway. If you look up the 14 requirements for fascism, we have fulfilled all 14 of those points since, what was it, 2004? Something, 12 years ago at least. But it's being done covertly or secretly, so people don't know. But if you look it up and educate yourself, you'll see what kind of country we're actually living in. Anyway, the rent control thing is, to me, it's never been a real thing. They just say what they're going to do, but it's never done. Or there's a loophole found. Why do you think the goddamn IRS code is about this high? Because only lawyers that are chiselers and rich people that can pay the chiselers find loopholes in there. And then when they find loopholes and the government might do something about it, they find more loopholes. So it's all this one big game. You know, and unfortunately most of us are the losers in the game. That's if you feed into it. If you don't feed into all the bullshit that's out there, you start seeing a hell of a lot more clearly. You figure out how to survive better and even thrive and lead a better life. I was talking to Pete about one thing with medical. When I or somebody else calls for an ambulance, why do they always send the fire truck first? Because they're closer? by what, a minute or two? No, it's to rip people off of their money, and if you're on government benefits, they're making you more and more of a debt slave. So when you call for the ambulance, tell them you don't want a fire truck. See what happens. I'm telling you, this whole system is so rigged, it's absolutely ridiculous. And until people educate themselves about what really goes on, they're not going to be free in their mind. Look at insurance. Insurance is a big scam. It's a big Ponzi scheme. They're betting on who's going to get sick when. We did all these surveys and assessments, and what we're doing is we're charging you a certain premium. The problem is the insurance companies are making millions, billions of dollars because, first of all, they don't want to pay out any awards. So they drag you into court, got to prove all this and that, got to have a doctor that backs you. That takes 2 or 3 years. And then how much money have you wasted trying to get the money that was actually owed you in the first place? And then they come up with, well, that was a pre-existing situation. So for a long time, they were trying to not cover people on pre-existing situations. Like if somebody had a stroke or a heart attack 10 years ago, that's a pre-existing situation. So we can't cover you because of that. It's all bullshit. All they're doing is hedging their bets to pocket as much money as they can. And everybody's feeding into it because I gotta have money for this, that, and the other thing. Well, when you realize that money is what they call worthless pieces of paper and is not backed by gold or anything, you start seeing the grand Ponzi scheme. And so many people are wrapped up in this stuff. I'm sitting there laughing my ass off and saying, you know what? I cut out credit cards a long time ago. I cut out, what do they call those? Payday loans. All they're doing is ripping people off and trying to keep you in this continuous cycle of perpetual debt. I mean, what's the point?
Going back to housing, though, how about Section 8? Is that still alive or what?
Section 8, it's funny with Section 8, used to be a lot more readily available, but in the last, well, let's see, I checked back like 5 years ago, they started cutting it off early. For instance, I called the end of, or the beginning of this year, like March or April, and they said they had already cut it off in February. No more applications. Why is that? Why are there so many waiting lists for so many people to get into places to live, and yet the people in government complain about the homeless problem? Well, that's because they created it, and they're keeping it going because it's making them money. So the same thing goes for rent. They're trying to, like I said, they're trying to keep you just getting you enough money to survive.
And then the vacant housing that we have.
Oh, God. There's, you know, I advocated for Safe Ground years ago and found out from some of their own members who are really smart people, there are so many abandoned buildings down here, downtown, or, I don't know, maybe not abandoned. They're empty. They're not being utilized. They applied for permits and stuff to get into those to set up a place, and they constantly got refused. You don't have a permit for this, you don't have a license for that. But all these people on the town council were doing was setting up stop signs saying, no, you can't do this. More hurdles, more problems, going to court, whatever. They didn't want homeless people living in a building downtown. That was the bottom line. And some of the members that used to be on, and probably still are, the town council, they have interest in some of these buildings. That's what's really ironic. What they're saying is, I'm better than you. You don't deserve a place to live, and I'm not going to let you have it. That's it. The whole rent thing is calculated by people that either work with them or for them, not only on the city level, but on the county and the state level and the federal level, to control people. That's all it is.
And then how now we have the Arco Arena.
Oh, the new thing here?
That Kevin Johnson brought in, and how many people from the Bay Area would prefer to live here because the rent's cheaper in comparison to the Bay Area. So those who are here, our rents are going up.
Yeah, the San Francisco is expensive. I wanted to move down there quite a while back, but it's way too expensive down there. Can't do it on disability. Can't even afford to move.
I think even the room is like $1,000 a month.
That's like a loft apartment. It's like almost nothing. It's like the size of this right here. There's almost nothing in there. Up here, though, I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was a stream of people that came up here from down there because of places like Loaves and Fishes and other, housing and stuff that became available to homeless people. They were coming up by thousands out of San Francisco, even as far as LA, because they couldn't afford or couldn't live down there, and they figured they'd find places here. That's where Section 8 came in. You could apply for Section 8 in a different county and still possibly get it. And there were people getting it. Not only Section 8, but if you have any kind of aid, obviously Social Security, but other kinds of county aid, you can get it transferred to other counties. There were people that transferred stuff from other states. So what are we doing? What are the people in power trying to do? They're just shifting around homeless and poor and very low income population to places where they can control them.
How about the concept of communes, a Central City commune, communal housing?
Communal housing, it's a good idea, but I think because of the negative influences out there and so many people buying into it, it could be alcoholism, drug addiction, prostitution, gambling, whatever the hell it is. I don't know if communal living would work as well here as in a natural setting. That's why they're more successful, believe it or not, in South America, in Canada, in very rural places in this country. But then you have kind of a, I don't know if you'd call it competition, but you have militias and survival groups that are doing pretty well that don't want to have any other kind of influence in their area. So there's like a, I guess it's loosely kind of competing interests. But I think if you're, unless you're in a natural setting and things aren't contrived and controlled, this country has a lot less likely possibility of it, unless you have a really strong group of people that are put together. Maybe. There's too many negative influences out there.
I think too about how with Bernie Sanders and the millions that he raised, and like Jill Stein for the recount, millions involved there. Why don't people just buy some land and grow their own food and just create communes?
Well, first of all, Monsanto was trying to make it illegal for people to grow their own food. Just thought I'd throw it in there, Monsanto, once again. Here's the deal. You got people like the Dalai Lama and other gurus or whatever from India and other foreign countries to actually buy land here, big tracts of land, and set up pretty nice kind of retreat centers. Why can't we do that in our own country? You're right. Why can't a whole slew of us put money together and start opening these more natural kinds of places? That's a good question. Why not?
Small, sustainable communities.
Right.
A village.
Long term. Right. It's not like there are people out there that don't know how to do this, because there are plenty of them. Just look online. There's so much advice about sustainable living, and well, actually, that's another subset of the groups, self-sustaining communities. It's all over, but
we can grow our own vegetables and fruits and livestock.
Right. There have been people that have put these things together successfully without using all the chemicals and pesticides and crap that we're getting in our body, basically poisons. They've done it. Why can't everybody get on the same page with them? I mean, look at solar power. Now, in the last, year or two, they're giving away free solar setups. know on the tail end people have to pay for service and whatever. But the whole point is getting away from the petroleum, the oil industry.
Fossil fuels.
Yeah. I mean, it's eating up the earth anyway. You know, we're extracting stuff, and then you got this fracking crap, which is screwing things up. Look at how big the protest was at Standing Rock, and they actually succeeded in diverting the pipeline. Just found out about that yesterday.
Temporarily.
Yeah, they succeeded.
When Trump goes in, Trump's going to re-up it again.
Well, I don't know. See, the veterans had a big thing to do with it. Veterans from our country, they stood up for him, and they protected them, actually. And now I'm sitting there going, well, diversion is good because they were fighting for their land. But the problem is, if they're still going to do that, we don't even need it. We need solar and water and wind power way more than we need, you know, some kind of oil-based thing, because all it's doing is polluting the air.
I think, too, where oil in the ground is supposed to be a cushion to prevent the huge tectonic plates.
Yeah.
Like imagine a bunch of dishes in the sink, and the oil helps to stabilize that. And then when you're taking that out with fracking and stuff, then there's more of a tendency towards earthquakes.
Well, think about your knee. There's fluids and stuff around your knee. If you start losing that, your ligaments get messed up, your tendons, next thing you know, you need a knee replacement. Or what about the amniotic fluid that surrounds a fetus? All of that stuff is to protect. The oil is actually in the ground, I think you're right about this, to prevent major drastic slippage in the tectonic plate.
So it's supposed to be there.
Right. Well, yeah, otherwise it wouldn't have been, right? It's just there naturally. But certain men have been fucking with this stuff for a long time, and we're paying the price for their stupid mistakes.
So no to the Dakota pipeline.
No.
All pipelines.
No pipeline at all is what I'm saying. And I think they're saying that too, but
I like the same progressive, that sister there, same progressive, and how Obama has okayed more pipelines and more fracking than anyone in history. He's really evil.
Yeah.
Despite his smile.
And actually, a judge just ruled against him in court. He was appealing something. I don't know if it was the pipeline, but they ruled against Obama. One by one, people have been going against Obama. I mentioned before that there were generals that threatened to a coup against him because he was violating the Constitution so much. That's real stuff. That's documented on YouTube and papers, all kinds of things. But now they're saying that Trump is going to be doing more of the same or worse. However, I think I take that with a grain of salt right now, because he's not even in office. They hated him before he got elected. The whole Hillary thing was proven to be fraud and a scam, and Clinton Foundation stuff has been opened wide. I mean, there's so much garbage in there, it stinks to high heaven. So, but if they were controlling the media as well, of course they're going to try to still make Trump look bad. That's what the recount was all about. They just proved that with Stein. She got a lot of money for that from the DNC or Hillary and Hillary or whatever you want to call that crap. And they said there was fraud in the recount in, where was it, Wisconsin? And they're starting to prove it in Florida. It's just like ongoing crap.
Okay, we're headed up to 20 minutes, so let's kind of close up on housing again.
Housing, all I could say is if I were people that don't know much about this, I would research it.
Basically, we have a human right to housing.
Right, we have a human right to housing. Get together with your brothers and sisters and start protesting things and petitioning and that kind of thing. Otherwise, you're still going to be controlled to the max.
Thank you, brother,
No problem.
for sharing. Power to the people.
Did you save it?
Yeah, I should have.